Hello, my name is Loredana Schipor. I am teaching assistant at Ovidius University of Constanța. This paper, entitled The Digital Transformation of the Finance Industry in Romania, was made in cooperation with Mrs. Cristina Duhnea, Associate Professor at the same university. This paper starts from the post-crisis economic context and the emergence of fintech companies in Romania. Fintech companies are using technology and innovations in order to provide financial services to the customers, leading to a new industry where traditional banks are both competitors and partners. Moreover, the basic perception of fintech companies is that they will not replace the traditional financial institutions, emphasizing their willingness to collaborate, as stated Duhnea and Ilioiu in 2017. These are the main fields where fintech is currently well represented and a categorization that leads us to the customer segment as the central point of our analysis. This paper explores the online banking penetration in Romania, starting from the customer's awareness related to digital services and fintech, and then testing their trust in such solutions. The client's opinions regarding disruptive technologies were analyzed in order to identify the consumer involvement in the process, considering the consumer sophistication features. In order to achieve this goal, we used a Google Form questionnaire, processing the data through the SPSS software. We have started the analysis by investigating the technological infrastructure available now in Romania through the Digital Economy and Society Index. According to this figure, Romania has one of the lowest scores on the overall index. The connectivity dimension has the best performance. Except the fast broadband coverage, all other mentioned criteria were above the EU average. Only 29% of Romanians have basic digital skills, and 10% have advanced digital skills, well below the EU average. Romania has also the lowest scores for the use of internet services. An interesting fact is that Romanians prefer to use the internet services mainly for social networks. Only 10% of the internet users trust in digital technology to do online banking, while the EU average is about 64%. The total investment activity in fintech demonstrates an increasingly competitive market and the consolidation of the fintech segment despite the moderate decline of the investment volume. In Romania, the most known fintech is Revolut. Surprisingly, despite the general mistrust of the Eastern European customers, the Romanian public was more receptive, Revolut building a network based on recommendations. Three null hypotheses were tested, suggesting that trust is a determinant of customer satisfaction with digital banking services. But trust in the digital banking services not necessarily means that those consumers will be willing to access financial services offered by the fintech companies, even the tool to offer such services is identical for banks and fintech companies, the internet. In Figure 3 are represented the factors influencing the consumer's banking services choice of a certain bank to collaborate with. The most frequently mentioned factor was accessibility. The trust and the quality of banking services are the following factors. Regarding the purpose of using digital banking services, 196 of the respondents mentioned the payment of bills as the main reason. Just 23% of the respondents mentioned visit to the bank's branches. Higher percentages were registered for the use of internet banking and mobile banking. For now, trust in banks is much higher in terms of digital banking services compared to those offered by the fintech companies. Investigating the main cause of concern about the use of financial services offered by the fintech companies, we found that in the first place is the level of security of their money and investments, then the lack of experience of the service providers and the cyber attacks. Unfortunately, the conclusions we have reached show that Romania is at the lowest level of the European ranking in terms of digitalization, but especially in the use of digital tools for managing financial resources and accessing financial services. If in terms of connectivity we are above the European average, in terms of digital skills are on the lowest positions. On the other hand, the growth of several Romanian companies that offer such financial services shows that the national market is not only a source of new customers, but is ready to give providers on this extremely dynamic niche. Using the Pearson correlation coefficient to verify three null hypotheses, we came to the conclusion that there is a positive relationship, but of different intensities, between the trust that consumers have in digital banking services, the level of sufficiency with their current digital banking services, the satisfaction they have with these services, and the trust which it provides to the services offered by fintech companies. There is a limited penetration of these services in terms of frequency of use and the complexity of services accessed. This was our presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.